way to wrap your head around. But essentially what KPMG does is that we offer non-physical products or services to other clients or companies or audited entities. And the reason why we do this is so we can offer support for them to either solve a specific problem or for them to reach a desired outcome. And we do this in different departments or capabilities, is what we call it internally, which essentially is departments. So we do this in the audit department, tax and law, advisory, and of course technology, which you're here for. Just to briefly talk about, as Mabel mentioned, there are apprenticeship roles and graduate roles that we offer. Just as quickly go through what the application process is like at KPMG. So it's a 4-step application process, which involves 2 online assessments. One, the first online assessment being a cognitive ability test, where you're tested on your logical and reasoning skills. And then the second online assessment focuses more on the skills that we're looking for. And then if you're successful in that, you then move on to the final stage, which is the launch pad. And this is an in-person assessment center. In those in-person assessment centers, you're interviewed by a senior colleague in the area that you've applied for. So for instance, this will be technology for everyone here. And then you are also put into a group activity that you're also assessed on. So just to move on, looking at what we want at KPMG and what makes candidates stand out. Essentially, and I think you probably will hear this a lot with other companies perhaps, but I can't emphasize this enough. We find that most of the candidates that do walk through those doors, the candidates that are offered those roles, are candidates that show and demonstrate the skills that we're looking for. And I can appreciate that these skills aren't expert knowledge level, and it's precisely what we're looking for. We're not looking for people that know the coding, know all the ins and outs about technology. We're looking for people that just generally have an idea about technology, but also embody skills like being resilient, having relationship building skills, because you have to always remember you're dealing with clients. And I'll also say people that know the values of KPMG. This values make the core, they build up the foundations of the company. And so being able to incorporate those along with the skills that we're looking for. I'll also say, for instance, when you're trying to practicing the online assessment, the first one, it's as I said before, it's a reasoning and a logical judgments that we're testing. So with those, it's not something that can be taught. It's not something that you can research, unfortunately. So it's something that you have to consistently practice. I'll also say candidates that do a thorough research on KPMG beyond the knowledge that everyone, or the things that everyone knows about KPMG, are people that stand out. So what I mean by this is, before I got into KPMG, I heard a lot that KPMG is very much the people firm. And so understanding the culture of KPMG beyond, okay, they are a professional services company with different, sectors in them, understanding the culture of KPMG and the different societies, or what they're passionate about, how they impact, the society at large, and being able to draw on that when you're responding to questions as well. I'll also say letting your personality come through. And this is something that, was highlighted to me when I was applying for KPMG. As I mentioned before, you having experience in technology is great, and it's important to be able to draw from, and also, incorporate that in your responses. but we're also looking for people that are just, well-rounded as candidates, and being able to draw from the extra, for instance, the extracurricular activities that you have outside of your professional career is great. And as long as they are able to demonstrate the skills that we're looking for, being integral, how results focused, being able to draw on that is also something that I will encourage, and also it's something that we regularly see in candidates that are made the offer to join us at the company. I will also mention quickly, because as we were talking about, Mabel was mentioning AI. We don't actually encourage the use of AI at KPMG. It's interesting because we do use AI in the company, and we have an AI feature that has been built by the company itself. But in that assessment process, if we do, and we do have proctoring features in the assessment. So if you are identified to be using some form of AI in your responses, it is very likely that your application will be withdrawn because it is recognized as a breach. And I also think that the reason why we also don't encourage AI is because, again, but going back to the personality thing, we want to know about you. We want to know whether you are the right fit for the company. And you also want to know if we are the right fit for you. A great piece of information that I got, applying to jobs was, you're not only interviewing, the company's not only interviewing you, but you're also interviewing the company. And I think that's the mindset that everyone or all candidates should have. And so when you use that, the AI feature, what we find is that there is literally a replication of the same responses being given over and over again. And that takes away the personality that we're looking for as well. So yeah, just all in lastly to mention as well before I round up, talking about CVs, we get loads and loads of CVs that are sent over, and the mistake that people actually make is that we don't look at CVs, and it sounds a bit crazy because is then like, well, so how do you review applicants? The reason why we don't look at CVs is so we can give anyone and everyone the opportunity for them to come into the company should they wish to, regardless of the experience, regardless of their background. And so please don't send any CVs because they do get deleted, unfortunately. So if you are interested to going through the graduate route or the apprenticeship route, all you have to do is quite literally, go on our website and apply for the role that you are interested in as well. And lastly, going back to, the first online assessment, another tip that I would give is that be familiar with graphs, be familiar with charts, get yourself familiarized with like interpreting data at large, because they are, again, areas that are tested. And so if you don't remember anything I say, just remember these three things, that it's your skills, it's the skills that we're looking for, and the values that we stand on, being able to incorporate all of those at every point in your responses to interview, and in an interview is what makes you stand out as a candidate, and will get you through those doors. So lastly, I will put up the slide. So this QR code is for anyone that perhaps may be interested in applying for any of our technology roles. So what this QR code will do is it will take you to what is called a talent community, and this is kind of a notification system. So our technology roles at the moment aren't opened, but once they do open up, if you're signed up to the talent community, you will get a notification for you to submit an application. And I will always advise to submit as soon as possible because, as you know, or may not know, we do recruit on a rolling basis. And so as soon as we hit those targets for the locations, we do close it down, and it's very unlikely that it will reopen again. So yeah, please go ahead and scan the QR code. just give everyone a minute for anyone that's interested to do so. Yeah. Perfect. Well, that's all from me. I do hope that this has been helpful. And of course, if you have any questions for me at the end or in the Q&A section, please feel free to shoot your questions over. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Mabel, for the opportunity as well.
No worries. Thank you so much, Mami. Thank you so much, guys. If you have any questions, please be sure to use the Q&A feature because we're going to come back to them. So Hazel, next. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And that was really useful as well, Mommy. Well, hello everyone. My name is Hazel. I've been at LinkedIn for 4.5 years now. I'm an enterprise customer success manager. Spent the first 3 years actually in Dublin, looking after the DACH region. So that's Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And now, as of end of 2024, is when I started looking after our UKI enterprise clients. So really excited to be here today. And the three topics that I will be talking about is how employers use LinkedIn in 2026, how to build a strong early career profile, and how to position yourself without extensive experience as well. So before I actually jump into the next slide, how many members do you think we have on LinkedIn right now? Just feel free to pop it in the chat. Anyone? 2 billion? Okay. 3,000. Okay. 40 million. 15 million. Okay, we've got a good range there actually. So yeah, the answer is actually more than five. Yeah, definitely more than 5,000. Okay, good. Thank you for sharing, guys. So yeah, so it's actually 1.3 billion members on LinkedIn right now. So we do have a lot of members on LinkedIn. And the reason I'm sharing that is just to highlight how many, like how big the talent pool is at the moment. Now, the question we tend to get is, how do I stand out? What do I need to put on my LinkedIn profile? What can I do for recruiters to recognize me? So the first thing to really know is that recruiters don't just browse on LinkedIn, they filter. So what you have on your LinkedIn profile is absolutely essential. So thinking about your headline, the skills that you put on your LinkedIn, your about me section, which I'll dive into a bit deeper shortly as well. And also your, yeah, as I said, your skills and your experience as well, of course. So when recruiters are searching, we've actually got AI tools internally as well, and they can literally just say what exact skills they're looking for. And if that skill isn't available on your LinkedIn profile, you're basically missing out on an opportunity. So first action already that I'm going to give you all, especially if you're looking for a new role, is to think of one role that you're currently interested in, and then just type that in on LinkedIn jobs, and then look up 5 to 10 job descriptions, and then see if you can see a pattern in terms of like the required skills, the desired skills, what the job title actually is, and then also yeah, how that also relates to what you have at the moment. Because what you'll find is that sometimes there might be certain roles that you're looking for, but then other companies will have different job titles. But when you read the job description, it's exactly what you do. So try and look maybe 5 to 10 job descriptions, see what they have, look at maybe the top 10 skills, and then try and mirror it to your skills as well. Of course, make sure that it's actually the skills that you do have already, but try and use that same language, just that when the recruiter is also looking for potential candidates, that they'll be able to find you. Perfect. Go to the next slide. Okay, so here we are looking at, when it comes to telling your story. So as Mami just mentioned earlier, some recruiters might not even look at your CV. So what you want to do is put yourself in a really good position that your LinkedIn profile is up to date. And that starts with your headline. So your headline would be, what you see at the top. So here, for example, for Jada, we can see financial analyst, but you can decide what you want to put in your headline. So say, for example, you're a recent graduate, rather than just putting recent graduate, make sure you actually tell LinkedIn or like you basically, you you state what exactly you graduated in. So you could put, for example, data analyst graduate. And the reason why I say that is when a recruiter is now looking for a candidate, the moment they put in data analyst, your name is more likely to come up rather than you just put in recent graduate, because then it's very vague. And then also as I said, your headline is what the first thing that people will see, but then also showcase who you are and not just what you do. So say, for instance, I saw in the chat as well, I think someone said that they're in the health sector and probably looking to transition into tech. Within tech, it's not just one industry, there's so many different sectors. So you've got ed tech, fintech, health tech, legal tech. So if you already got experience in the health sector, that's already something that you can leverage on. You know, if you're someone that's maybe currently a teacher looking to transition into tech, again, ed tech might be a good place to start on. And the reason why I say that as well is because sometimes people feel that they don't really know, where to start, or maybe the skills that they have at the moment, they don't really know if it's relevant. But what we always say, it's about everyone has their own story, but it's about how you tell your story. So it's really important that you find a way to relate it to what it is that you want to do, because everyone in this room right now will have transferable skills. No matter what you did in the past or what you want to get into, there will always be transferable skills, but it's about how you relate it back onto LinkedIn. So as I said, so for example, let's say, for example, you're a teacher, you could put, current teacher, and then as a next section, you can put transitioning into tech. So you put in that already. Again, if a recruiter is typing in maybe ed tech or teacher, or maybe one of the skills that you have as a teacher could be, having a lot of patience. That's already one thing, or leadership skills or organization skills. These are all skills that's also required in tech. And something that's also important to know is that, within tech, it's not just about coding or like the actual technical skills. There are a lot of skills that you don't need to be technical for. For example, for my role as a customer success manager, I don't necessarily need to be like a technical person. There might be certain things that does require some technical skills, or we do usually have like tech consultants as well. Of course, it depends on the company, but usually CSMs don't necessarily have to be very technical. So if you find that, okay, I don't necessarily have technical skills, but I'm trying to transition into something that's within tech, but not technical, also try and find a transferable skills in there as well. And then here, another thing as well, did you know that members with profile pictures actually receive 21 times more views and 9 times more connection requests? And the reason for that is that sometimes we do have a few fake accounts, on LinkedIn. And if you don't have a picture on LinkedIn, a recruiter might not necessarily think that you're a real person. So just start off by having a professional picture, have a picture where you literally there, by yourself, not with somebody else, and where we can see you clearly. Try and also update it, every 1 or 2 years. And that's always a good starting point as well. And then the second thing as well is members who include at least one position receive up to 2 times many profile views. So if you've already got a LinkedIn profile, that's already first step done. And now it's about what you put on your LinkedIn profile. So your pictures, your about me section, that actually goes into this bit here. So, about me section, education, certifications, or licenses. So if you're currently still a student, talk about all the projects that you've done at the moment. Don't always think about, I know sometimes it can be quite intimidating, especially let's even assume you've just graduated and then you look at a job description, sorry, that's saying early career, but then they're asking for 2 years experience. And you're thinking, well, I've just literally come out of university. Where am I meant to get the experience from? So use the experience that you've gained in university or even any volunteering roles that you've done. That's also really important. Don't only think about the monetary, like in terms of like the paid work experience that you have. Also think about the things that you've done outside of work, even when you're a student as well. I'm sure as a student there might also be things where you were, I don't know, like a student ambassador, or there might be other things that you've done in university that you can also leverage on your LinkedIn profile. Again, it's about how you tell your story. And the extracurricular activities that you do. As Mami just mentioned earlier as well, it's not just about your role, or what skills you have. It's also how relatable you are. If there's anything that you do, like, is the recruiter also thinks about, are you somebody we can actually work with? It's not just about your core skills. That of course is very important, but they also want to know, if we actually accept this person, will they will they be able to mingle with the team? So that's something they look at as well. So if you also to put in your extracurricular activities, you might even find that, the recruiter might have a similar extracurricular activity, and that's already a conversation there as well. You'll be surprised how things that you put on your LinkedIn profile can start a conversation. And then again, keywords and descriptions that align with your career objectives. So as I mentioned earlier, as an action, whether it's today or tomorrow, have a look at the top 5 to 10 job descriptions, and then see what skills and tools are repeatedly mentioned. So for example, for CSMs, of course, communication skills is very important. Being able to, whether it's even use Salesforce or Tableau or different tools that we have available. Again, every company will be different, but there will be certain things that do overlap. So have a look and see where you find a pattern, and then try and make sure that if you don't currently have those skills, try and upskill yourself as well. So yeah, highlighting your skills. So you'll hear me say skills, skills, skills quite a lot, because now what you'll find that it's not just the hard skills that's important, it's also the soft skills. And when I say hard skills, I'm talking about, for example, whether that's you being able to code, or like Python or Excel, whereas like soft skills would be like your leadership skills or organization skills, things that you learn that also makes you a bit more personable as well. So that would be your soft skills. And what you'll find now is that recruiters are even focusing probably even more on the soft skills than your hard skills. Because with the soft skills, when it comes to whether, your personality, or just whether you how your leadership skills is like at the moment, your time management skills, that's something that recruiters do really appreciate. And if you are able to showcase that and be authentic, that's something that will definitely help you stand out as well. And then again, when recruiters are looking for roles, they are typing in the skills. So if you know you've got the skill and it's not on your LinkedIn profile, please go and update it as soon as you can. You can add, up to 50 skills on your LinkedIn profile. You can ask your friends or colleagues to also endorse you. That actually helps you with your ranking as well. So if you're put in maybe like time management skills, if somebody endorses you, it just basically proves that you've got the time management skills. But then even outside of that as well, are you posting on your LinkedIn? If you don't feel comfortable posting on your LinkedIn as well, think about maybe liking people's posts, or commenting on their post, or at least engaging with their post one way or another as well. Um, Something else, when you're posting, I know that sometimes it can be quite daunting. And I'll be honest, even for me, people assume because I'm working at LinkedIn, I don't, I can post anytime, and I'm like, I don't get, not worried, but I don't overthink it, but I actually do overthink it as well. And when you're posting, don't just worry about like, oh my God, what if nobody likes my post? You'll find that you'll post something, you're thinking, wow, this post is going to get me all the likes. And then you see you only get like 5 likes. And then you're thinking, maybe it's not as good as I thought, but still keep that post there. Don't delete it, because the 5 people that have liked your post, one of them might actually be the person that will lead you to your next opportunity as well. Or for example, what you'll find is that not everybody comments directly on your post. I've actually posted things before where someone didn't actually someone didn't comment on my post, but they actually sent me a DM, which actually led me to another opportunity as well. So it's really, really important that when you're posting, I know it's easier said than done, but try not to overthink like how many likes you're getting on your post, how many comments you're getting on your post. Of course, there are certain things that you can think about. For example, what we see is that try not to post after, say, like 8 p.m. Don't post too late. Again, depending on your audience as well, of course. Some people maybe have more of a US pool. So if you're based in the UK, posting at 9 p.m. might not be an issue, because a lot of your audience might be based in the US. But if you find that a lot of the people that you're connected with at the moment are more like within, UK, or around similar time zone to you, I would say the best time to post is usually around midday, or around 5 or 6 p.m. when people have finished work, or actually very early in the morning when people are commuting to work. So that's usually like the prime time to post. And again, when you're thinking about algorithm, try and engage with people that you're actually interested in as well. So don't just actually that leads me on to the next point here. Don't just aimlessly connect with people, don't just think about again the numbers. It's not all about the numbers, it's about how authentic those numbers actually are and who you're actually connecting with as well. So when you're connecting with somebody, what I always recommend is just add a note. Like literally it can be one sentence to maybe just say, I just saw your post on LinkedIn, which really resonated with me. So I wanted to connect with you, if that's the case, of course. Or it might be a company, maybe that person works for a company that you would like to work for. Then you can just say, hi. Just gonna say, Mame, I've seen that you work for KPMG. So I thought it would be great to connect as I would like to follow a bit more around KPMG. It doesn't need to be a lot, but you doing that when you're connecting with that person is going to feel a lot more personal. So when Mami maybe is now looking for a next potential candidate and the skills that you have align, they're more likely to think about you rather than someone else that didn't reach out to them. So really make the connections as meaningful as you can. But again, don't feel like you need to have like 1,000 connections for the sake of having 1,000 connections. You rather have like 100 connections with people that you can actually really connect with. And then again, sorry, next thing is like show recruiters you're open to work, if you are open to work, of course. And it doesn't always have to be the green banner. So I know some people actually think that it's only the green banner is the only way to showcase that you're open to work. It's actually another way where you can actually go onto your profile and then it will say open to. And if you click on it, as you can see here, then it asks you what roles you're interested in. So you can say, if it's like hybrid roles, remote roles, or what's the other one? On-site, on-site roles. And then again, just maybe put 3 different roles that you're interested in. Again, going back to my earlier point, you will find that some companies will have different job titles for the exact same thing that you like to do. So this is your opportunity where they're asking what kind of roles you're open to. You're putting all these different job titles in there as well. Again, just to make sure that you're always being seen. So yeah, adding job titles, locations, the types of work, and then indicate your start flexibility as well. So if it's a case where you're actually actively looking and you're ready to start immediately, put that. If you're casually looking, put that as well. And then the last thing before I pass it on over to Mabel again is follow organizations that actually interest you. Um, and the reason why I say that is because recruiters can actually filter candidates based on who's already following the company and who have also selected interested in future roles. So when you go onto a company, as you can see here, for Microsoft, for example, some companies on LinkedIn have a live tab, and that live tab is actually an opportunity for you to also see, do I even want to work for this company or not? Because that's where they showcase what life for example, Microsoft it's like, sorry. So that's where they post different things. And there'll be a section that will say interested in future roles. And when you select that as well, recruiter can actually look at that to then basically find you. So you want to make sure you really put yourself out there, make sure you're updating your skills and make sure your job profile is up to date. Yeah, that is everything for now. I'm sure there'll be some questions as well, so I'll be happy to answer that as well.
There are plenty of questions. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mami. Given that we have the last 15 minutes, we're just going to dive into the questions. There were some questions that were sent in the chat, and then we're going to move to the Q&A section. Somebody asked, and I'm going to touch on it quickly, what's the best place online to get certifications now? There are different kinds of certifications. Based on my experience, and this is my experience only, the ones that I feel like hold most weight are the ones that are from the official body. So it will highly depend on what you're trying to do. But for example, if you're trying to become a Salesforce specialist, whether that is in marketing, cloud marketing, or whether that is an admin or whatever it is, you want to get the certification that is provided by Salesforce itself. If you are a data analyst and you want to become a BI developer and you want to get Tableau jobs or Power BI jobs, which are two tools used from the BI, so business intelligence side of things, you want to go straight from the source. So if Power BI is a Microsoft certification and it's a Microsoft product, so you want to go straight to the source. But it's highly dependent on what you're trying to do and what your field is. Next question we had, I think one for Hazel. Someone said, what is the real impact of LinkedIn Premium?
So with LinkedIn Premium, there's actually different opportunities that you have through LinkedIn Premium. So you've got LinkedIn Learning, which actually answers one of the questions that you just said there, Mabel. So you've got LinkedIn Learning courses. We've got over 20,000 courses available in different languages. And that's a nice way to upskill yourself. So as I mentioned earlier, it's not just your hard skills that's important now, it's also your soft skills. So employers always want to know that you're constantly upskilling yourself. So that's number one. You can also see, who's actually viewing your LinkedIn profile. And then what you'll find is that sometimes recruiters are also just checking out your profile. That's another opportunity to see who you want to reach out to as well, and then just maybe just literally a line or two, I just noticed that you had a look at my LinkedIn profile, and then maybe just say, if you see that there's any opportunity that aligns with you, maybe say, are you free for a coffee chat? Could we maybe have a conversation around A, B, C, and D? And then expanded search filters, and also job when it comes to applying for jobs. So when you actually apply for jobs, it will tell you whether you're a top candidate or not, and if so, what skills are actually matching. So we have an AI tool within LinkedIn Jobs as well, where it tells you how many jobs how many skills match with the job description in terms of the one that you're interested in, and then also, as I said, if you're a top candidate or not. So I'll be like the top things already to point out.
Amazing. Thank you so much. There's a question from Mama here, and it says, I believe they're asking for what skills are in demand at the moment. So based on your observations.
I think as Hazel has also mentioned, it's really the soft skills, especially if you're looking at the early careers role, you're looking at graduate roles. Again, like I mentioned before, we're not looking for you to be an expert in your, in the area that you're applying for. But we're more looking at, the soft skills as has been mentioned. And so I think that's what currently is in demand at the moment. Because you always have to remember you getting into the role. So at the end of your role, which is pretty much a 3-year program, at the end of the 3-year program, you will be an expert in that area. And so it's the soft skills essentially that will get you into those doors, I would say.
Thank you so much, Mame. I have someone asking, how do I get an apprenticeship degree in tech sales, digital marketing, software engineering? So I usually tend to source a lot of them through GradCracker. It's a site where people usually get graduate roles, but there's a lot of apprenticeship degrees that go in there. Or once you LinkedIn, I just go on there and just type in apprenticeship or tech apprenticeship, and then I read through it. And what tends to happen is that once you start seeing them, they will be recommended to you, almost like YouTube, like an algorithm. Is that the case, Hazel? That's what I have noticed from my end.
Yeah, and then also, actually, whilst you mentioned that, another thing you can do as well with the search bar, you'd be surprised how much information you can actually find through that as well. So, say for example, rather than just looking at the job section, you can literally put, I'm going to just speak for myself now, hiring customer success manager. And then you will see different recruiters actually say hiring for a customer success manager before they've even put it onto LinkedIn jobs sometimes. So that's a quick way to get in as well. And that's also a good way to see who the hiring manager is or who the recruiter is, and then actually reaching out to them directly. Something you can also do, by the way, when you apply for jobs, there's nothing wrong with also messaging the recruiter saying, especially if it's a role you're really interested in, just to say, hi, I'm gonna use mommy now. Hi, mommy. I've just applied for this role, and then maybe give like a little profile about yourself as well. I'm currently this and this. I've had so many years experience, and I'm now trying to pivot into this. And by you doing that, you've already done the intros. By the time mommy has actually seen your profile, she will actually remember you and think, oh, actually, I remember Hazel reaching out and saying A, B, C, and D. There's not always guarantee. I'm not going to pretend, but you will find that it can actually help you as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I have another question. Someone said, how do I make good connections? I'm not sure if you're talking about real life or LinkedIn, but we'll answer both. In terms of real life, my personal experience has been going on to Eventbrite and just going through all of the tech events, not going to them, but just seeing what they're offering, connecting with people on LinkedIn and Instagram, even if it's other countries. But I've had a lot of international opportunities because I just decided to speak to someone who lived on the other side of the world. And yeah, just like those networking events, if you ever get into like big tech companies, those are very good places, such as like the London Tech Week. Everybody's going to be there. Manchester Tech Week, if you're here. And if you do get a chance to get to the big ones in the US, please do. But in general, you can literally start small. Even universities, they have a lot of, they will call them maybe careers fairs or talks or open lectures for people that if you're not a graduate anymore, join and just speak to people, speak to the lecturers as well. They can be good connections as well.
Yeah. Or even again on LinkedIn, literally put networking events. If you're based in Manchester, networking events in Manchester. If you're based in London, networking events in London. And then maybe be more specific as well, whether you want like specifically tech events, make sure you put that in there. And then at the top, it will say sort by. So you can actually sort the date as well. So you find the most recent one at the top. So that could be another way to find networking events on top of what Mabel just mentioned there.
Amazing. Thank you so much. There's someone that has a question, and I think, Mami, you can answer that. For grad roles in the Big Four, is there an age limit or you have to come in as an experienced hire? Like,
No. Yeah, so I think the great thing about KPMG is as I said, is we're open to all. So as long as you meet the entry requirements, you are which is for grad roles would be 120 UCAS points, which is equivalent to three Bs, a undergraduate degree, which is at a 2-1, and then your maths and English. Again, I do know that the 2-1 can sometimes be a bit of an issue just because sometimes people don't, aren't awarded a 2-1, but that doesn't matter, doesn't mean that, at the first look that we're not going to offer you the chance. We do take other just look at your application as a whole as well. And so as long as you meet those entry requirements, you're more than welcome to submit an application.
amazing. Thank you so much, Mami. Another question for Hazel. The courses completed on LinkedIn Learning carry significant weight to recruiters. And
I would
Mami,
say
I'm going to ask you both.
Actually, yeah. So I would say is it does because it shows that you're proactive. Again, as you heard me say earlier, skills, 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 not just hard skills, but also soft skills. So you really want to show recruiters that you're constantly learning because again, now especially where I mean, we don't go a day without hearing the word AI, as Mabel mentioned earlier as well, things like machine learning. That's something that 10 years ago wasn't really much. I mean, of course, we knew about it, but it wasn't spoken about the way it's spoken about today. And those are courses that we actually have available on LinkedIn Learning. We have a lot of different AI courses available in different languages. So definitely, definitely check it out. And then even when we look at the skills that are in demand now, even things like cybersecurity as well, that we have a lot of skills around cybersecurity. So yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, I would agree with Hazel as well. So one of our skills that we actually are assess is a learning and curiosity, and you being able to demonstrate that you're curious or you have the desire to grow and get these certifications. Again, shows that you have these skills, and so yeah, I don't definitely doesn't work against you, but probably does more for you, just putting you in the right place, I'll say.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I'm going to answer this question quickly. Someone has 5 years experience in admin and also customer service, and they're looking to transition to tech. And he uses aspiring data analyst on his profile, but still gets reached out for admin experience by recruiters. How does he structure his profile while improving his data analytics skills in the meantime? Hazel?
Okay, yeah, okay,
Yes,
yeah,
please.
yeah, I can go with that one. So that's actually a really good question. So with that, if you're targeting, you said data analyst, right? Yes. Or maybe you're on mute.
Sorry, yes, he has aspiring data analyst on
hmm
his profile. However, his experience shows 5 years in admin and 2 years as a customer service representative
Okay.
in
So
customer.
so first thing already, what I would say is with that aspiring data analyst, if you've already got certain skills that's relevant for a data analyst, make sure that's on your headline, whether that's SQL, Excel, Power BI, whatever it is, make sure that's already on your headline there. Again, when recruiters are searching, they're putting in specific keywords. So if you already fall under one of these keywords, it'll make you stand out. Another thing you can also put is junior data analyst, for example, even if you put data analyst transitioning in brackets, right? So you're transitioning into data analyst, but just have that word there, data analyst. That again will make you stand out. But I would say try and add one or two skills that you've already gained right now, or if you haven't, try and gain one or two skills and then put that on your headline there as well. And then in the about me section, actually, maybe put a line where you're saying I'm moving into data, from the customer service, from the customer service space, and then maybe add one or two things again that you've learned so far. What you put on your LinkedIn profile, honestly, whether it's in your about me section, education section, skills section, all of those words will end up as a keyword when a recruiter is looking. So just make sure you have all the almost like the buzzwords, but the words that the actual skills that you do have. So don't lie, but make sure that you find a way to, as I said earlier, tell your story.
Amazing, thank you so much. Two questions for Mame. The first one is, what's KPMG stance on international students? And the second one is from someone based in Johannesburg, South Africa. What are their chances of working for KPMG not having a bachelor's degree or any other company?
So to answer the first question, so we do take international students. What you do have to be aware is that when it comes to sponsorship, so we do offer sponsorships for certain locations only. Um, if we and these locations are the London area, so like London, Watford, I can't remember the rest of the London locations, but they're all on our website. Yeah, so we offer sponsorship for international students in the London areas. For that, so if you require sponsorships, I would say focus more on applying to those locations. If you are not, if you don't need sponsorships, again, and you are haven't been in the UK for a minimum of 3 years, which is the requirement, you can still oh, for sorry, train of thought. Sorry. If you are an international student and have been in the UK for a minimum of 3 years or like 2.5, there are processes so that you can go through to still get into the company. Again, it's just a matter of just checking your right to work and going through the immigration process. Which is dealt with by a different team. But international students are more than, again, welcome to apply as well. Mabel, can you please remind me of the second question?
And so the question was, what are my chances of working for KPMG not having a bachelor's degree or any other company? They are from Johannesburg, South Africa.
Right. So I would recommend the apprenticeship route if you don't have a bachelor's degree, because the apprenticeship route only requires you to have A levels, or in your case, would be the equivalent to an A level, which would be like above secondary school net qualifications, and your maths and English qualifications. So yeah, it doesn't deter you. You can There is still the apprenticeship route. It can be slightly longer with the apprenticeship route because you're starting from a level 3 to a level 7. But again, you still gain as much experience, the same skills and the same experience as well. So there's also that option to consider.
Amazing, thank you so much. And we have actually hit time. So we're going to be ending. It's so sad because I've had such a lovely time. Thank you so much, Mami, and thank you so much, Hazel. I hope you guys have found it very very insightful. That's the word. Insightful. We have one last question that we're going to take, and it leads me on to one last announcement, and we can all share emails or LinkedIn profiles. Hazel and Mommy, if you want to be reached out to on LinkedIn. But the
Yeah.
last question is someone saying that they studied management in finance and information systems. They're currently going through school and pursuing an honors degree, and they're hoping to get further information about how to get a job as a Scrum Master, product owner. They're currently studying a course on top of the so like it's course on Coursera, so like a certification on top of the degree, and they want advice on how to get a job or with little skills and remote jobs, etc. First of all, you're doing all the right things, studying the certifications. In terms of remote jobs, obviously you're studying full time, so I don't think you're talking about full-time jobs. I would say right now, be doing your freelance work. Now it's a bit harder in Scrum Masters and product owner because like you kind of need a team and all of that. But from my experience, you can literally start small. I don't know if you have friends around you or like a community close to you. It could be that, there might be I don't know, a lot of people have their own companies, startups, or when I say startup, it might sound really big, but I promise you, everybody has a friend who's pursuing a business. And you can start little there, like being a project manager on there, showing that you have those project management skills. And in general, again, you're doing the right things. At the end of your bachelor's degree, I would say, and even throughout, try and pursue an internship. It's not as easy as before, as I said previously, but hey, you miss all the shots that you don't shoot. So make sure that you apply for internships. Make sure that you start looking at graduate schemes early on, and be prepared. I don't know what year you're on, but make sure that you start doing it now. Don't leave it last minute. Start looking through the graduate schemes, job descriptions and what they require for project management roles, for Scrum Master roles, and make sure that you fill in that knowledge gap now as you go along. And finally, if you do want ongoing support, I am offering mentorship if you're interested. It's all about picking a career. I've seen that many of you already know what you want to do, job search, interview prep, all these things. You can pick my brain with a one-off call for $39.99, or just like a monthly ongoing mentorship where we'll be meeting once a month and I kind of hold your hand throughout from getting that job or understanding what you need to get that job until getting like prepared for interviews and all of those things. If you are interested, on the top left corner, I've got my Instagram if you want to DM me, or you can also send me an email. I sent everyone that registered for this today an email, so you can just respond to that. You will also be sent an email off the back of this call with a recording of Azel and Mami's section, so that you can kind of use it for future and just be prepared for it. So if you're interested, just respond to that email basically. So have a look, keep an eye on your spam and on your junk areas of the emails, just in case you miss it. But yeah, that's all. In the meantime, Hazel and Mami, do you want to share your, I don't know, LinkedIn profiles? I think that's on brand. Hazel.
Yeah, so, yes. So my name is Hazel Upong. I'll put it in the chat as well. But yeah, Hazel Upong, you'll find me on LinkedIn. I did actually see a question as well, Mabel. I don't know if we was it around work-life balance. I don't know if someone says from Linda, what does that look like whilst working in tech? Maybe we can just quickly touch on that as well. I don't know if we have time or if we should send it as a follow-up. But
Yeah.
just quickly on that question, in terms of work-life balance, what I would say is when it comes to like working in tech, doing something that you do enjoy as well. So like even outside of my 9 to 5, I teach German as well. So that's something that I enjoy doing. So it doesn't feel like I'm stressing myself. It's just an addition to what I already do. So that's something that I would say. So find what you enjoy. So anything else you do on top of it. then actually feels like there is a balance there. But yeah, Hazel Opong, you'll find me on LinkedIn.
Amazing. Thank you, Hazel. And mine is Mame Ama and Aqua. I'll just pop that in the chat as well. Feel free to connect with me as well.
And mine is Mabel Ochubiri. I will be putting it on the chat as well. And thank you so much to Mam and Hazel. If you can send a clap, I don't even know how it works on the webinar. So if you can send a clap, let's clap for them. Thank you so much, girls. It's been so insightful and so amazing. And thank you so much to all that have joined.